In his opening remarks during the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation CEO Summit in Bangkok, Thailand, President Marcos Jr. lamented that progress made to address climate crisis is not enough, despite the implementation of global climate pacts such as the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and the Paris Agreement. Max Legaspi has a full story.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. emphasized the importance of diversifying energy sources in order to sustain global economic growth while avoiding the worst effects of climate change. Marcos stated that action is required because climate change is the most pressing existential challenge of our time and may have a negative impact on the global economy. Marcos also said that APEC member economies should increase efforts to address structural and policy issues to counter the effects of several global challenges, including the climate crisis. Marcos made the call, mentioning that climate change is interconnected with high inflation and geopolitical crisis as part of a delicate global food ecosystem that encompasses the global world. According to Marcos, the Philippine government is now focusing on the use of renewable energy sources such as hydropower, geothermal power, solar, and other low-emission energy sources. He stated that his administration is aiming for a 35% share of renewable energy in the power generation mix by 2030 and a 50% share by 2040. He made the statement after citing the findings of an Asian Development Bank study that showed the Philippines is one of the countries at great risk from the climate crisis with a loss of more than 6% of GDP annually by 2100. The Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC, is a regional economic forum founded in 1989 to capitalize on the Asia-Pacific region's growing interdependence. The 21 member economies of APEC seek greater regional prosperity by promoting balanced, inclusive, sustainable, innovative, and secure growth, and as well as accelerating regional economic integration. For Golden Nation Network, this is Max Legaspi.
Consequently, in order to address the absence of onboard training among Filipino sailors and other grievances of the European Maritime Safety Agency, or EMSA, the Marcos administration is considering issuing an executive order. The assurance was given during the House Overseas Workers Affairs panel hearing by the chair of the Commission on Higher Education, Prospero de Vera Jr., Executive Director of the Maritime Industry Authority, or MARINA, Samuel Batalla, and Attorney Julius Llano of the Department of Transportation. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says the national government is ready to provide relief assistance to families affected by flash floods and landslides in Davao del Sur and Davao Occidental provinces. Marcos Jr. gave the assurance after several towns in Davao del Sur and Davao Occidental submerged in floods. Meanwhile, DSWD reported that around 4 families from Davao del Sur and 6,000 families from Davao Occidental were forced to evacuate due to flash floods and landslides. With this, he noted that the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council and the Department of Public Works and Highways is currently doing clearing operations. For Senate updates, after the declaration of the state of calamity is set to expire on December 31, 2022, the proposed law on the establishment of the Philippine Center for Disease Control will serve as the program's legal foundation. JC Ogaire has a full report.
Senator Pia Cayetano revealed this as the Senate plenary continued to discuss the suggested national budget for 2023. Senator Risa Hontiveros inquired about the Department of Health, or DOH's strategy regarding the state of calamity's impending expiration during the session because Republic Act 11525, the law governing the COVID-19 vaccination program, depended on it. Cayetano, who defended the DOH's budget, claimed that a clause in the CDC bill would allow the government to buy medicines and vaccines to deal with the health problems like the COVID-19, even in the absence of a state of calamity. In a meeting of Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or LEDAC, Cayetano claimed that the lawmakers assured the DOH that they would give the CDC bill top priority. For Golden Nation Network, this is JC Ogaire.
Additionally, Senator Christopher Bongo has renewed his call for the Department of Health and the Department of Budget and Management to fast-track the release of allowances for healthcare. Natalie Danganan has a full story.
Senator Christopher Bongo has renewed his call for the Department of Health or DOH, the Department of Budget and Management or DBM, to expedite the release of allowances for healthcare workers who have yet to receive their share under the law that grants them and other frontline workers emergency benefits and allowances. In a statement, Go said that he passed Republic Act 11712 or the Public Health Emergency Benefits and Allowances for Healthcare Workers sponsored by Finance Chair Senator Angara, adding that under the law, healthcare workers should receive benefits and compensation. Go also said that it is imperative for the government not to neglect healthcare workers who were hired during the COVID-19 pandemic. He also lamented that many of the country's healthcare workers are moving abroad because of greater opportunities there. He said that we can't blame healthcare workers who chose to work abroad as they need to earn higher salaries to support their families. Likewise, Go appealed to his colleagues to provide an additional budget to the DOH to ensure the continuous implementation of programs that will help provide Filipinos access to primary care. Meanwhile, the DOH budget has been deemed submitted for approval. For Golden Nation Network, this is Natalie Danganan.
According to Senator Rafi Tulfo, a company allegedly received a request for payment of between 5 million pesos and 20 million pesos to expedite the renewal of its Certificate of Product Registration or CPR with the Food and Drug Administration. He cited a complaint where the pharmaceutical firm waited 3 to 5 years for the renewal of its CPR, and the asking price to fast-track the process ranges from 5 million pesos to 20 million pesos per product. Meanwhile, FDA Director General Samuel Zarate, who was appointed to the position last August, said Tulfo's claims are alarming. Moving on, the Department of Transportation, or DOTR, announced that the privatization process for EDSA busways starts. Here is the full details.
The Department of Transportation, or DOTR, has started soliciting insights from the private sector for the planned privatization of the EDSA busway. The transport agency has begun gathering feedback from investors who want to build, operate, and maintain transport projects through the Public-Private Partnership, or PPP scheme. As per the DOTR, the first batch of the PPP projects include the EDSA busway and the North Long-Haul Interregional Railway from Metro Manila to Ilocos and Cagayan. The EDSA busway and the North Long-Haul projects are the priorities of DOTR due to their impact on livability and sustainability, as these projects will contribute to the improvement of transportation infrastructure and establishment of livable and sustainable communities. The DOTR added that the privatization of the EDSA busway is to ensure its funding in the long run, especially as the government no longer plans to pay for its maintenance. Insights from the Pasig River Ferry System will also be considered, as based on data, the Pasig River Ferry System services more than 400 passengers daily in Metro Manila from Manila to Marikina City. For Golden Nation Network, this is Jasmine Cacho.
The Bureau of Customs, or BOC, has filed criminal charges against 33 traders accused of smuggling 350 million pesos in agricultural goods. In a statement, the BOC said that its anti-smuggling unit filed 33 criminal complaints with the Department of Justice, including 22 cases of Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act violations. The smuggled goods have a total dutiable value of 251.61 million pesos, with duties, taxes, and fees totaling 107.19 million pesos, depriving the government of legal revenue. Up next, a news force. Black Nazarene image to be on display at Luneta as traditional traslasyon remains suspended. Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System approves rate increase of Maynilad and Manila Water starting next year. Nora Honor's Contrabida selected as Best Asian Film at Hanoi Fest. Stay tuned for more stories and reports when News Force returns.